Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We're glad to have you join us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The 43rd virtual engagement of the Federal Executive Council is underway at the Presidential Villa. President Muhammadu Buhari is presiding over the meeting, which is the 14th for the year 2021. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president was joined by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Others physically present are the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Gambari, the National Security Advisor, Babagana Munguno, and 7 ministers. The Head of Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, and other members of the Council are participating online from their various offices across the nation's capital. Several memoranda from ministries, departments, and agencies are slated for consideration and possible approval. This is to sustain efforts at enhancing national growth and development for a prosperous future. NTA News will bring you details on resolutions adopted at the end of the meeting. Nigeria and some other West African countries were appreciated yesterday by the Sierra Leonean government as the country marked its 60th independence anniversary at a series of events in the capital city of Freetown. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Sierra Leone has always been on the side of collective African action at the global stage, including the United Nations.
In his anniversary speech delivered before several other West African leaders, including Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the President of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, mentioned how Nigeria and other countries in the sub-region have been helpful in the cause of the peace and development of this country.
Excellencies, heads of state, I take this opportunity to reaffirm my country's commitment to the pursuit and promotion of common African agenda through these and other multilateral institutions, including our leadership of the C10 and other processes. Let me equally assure my fellow citizens, assure your excellencies and the rest of the world that Sierra Leone has taken the challenge and we deliver on the promise at independence in 1961 to be a great nation.
Both Nigeria and Sierra Leone have shared cordial relations from colonial times, which has continued and evidenced in the socio-economic, technical, and security cooperation over the years. In a show of appreciation and gratitude, President Bio honored Nigeria and the other countries that he said have stood with Sierra Leone, a nation that survived an 11-year-old civil conflict from 1991 to 2002.
All of what Sierra Leone has been through in the past years, 11 years of civil war, and it has emerged from that terrible experience much stronger, a united country, and developing every day in, economically, socially.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo described it as a very happy event and that all the leaders were extremely proud of what the Sierra Leoneans have been able to do. Jude Onifade, NTA News.
For the purpose of accountability and good governance, the 9th National Assembly says it will continue to do more in the fight against corruption. President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan stated this while inaugurating Global Organization Parliamentarians Against Corruption, GOPAC, in Nigeria. Mobolaji Moribirin reports.
Gathered at the inaugural ceremony are members of the Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes with relevant stakeholders on anti-corruption related matters. To flag off Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption in Nigeria. The mandate of GOPAC is to work with legislators for the sole aim of combating corruption.
The inauguration of the Nigerian national chapter of GOPAC is another call to redouble our efforts in ensuring openness, consistent with our extant tradition and in line with the anti-corruption agenda of the present administration.
We have developed a strategy to combat corruption and then set the requisite platforms to implement the various legislative reform processes.
The legislature plays a pivotal role of stabilizing governance and making laws that will ensure orderly stability of the quality, fiscal coexistence of the state.
Today is not only a symbolic gesture, it is a milestone.
It is expected that the initiative will help to profile solutions in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
Still from the National Assembly, the Senate has passed the 2021 Federal Inland Revenue Service budget of 216.6 billion naira. This followed the consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Finance, which scrutinized the financial proposal, explained that the fund is to enhance the proposed personnel, overhead, and capital expenditure costs of the service during the 2021 fiscal year. 4% of non-oil revenue as cost of collection, while 7.6 trillion is the proposed total revenue for the service. Senate also passed the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill, which seeks, among other issues, to extend the tenure of the Resolution Cost Fund and grant it access to the special tribunal established by the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020. The Debt Management Office, DMO, is advising states to take ownership of debt laws to deepen fiscal management operations at the sub-national level. Director General of the DMO, Patience Oniha, says part of the fiscal concerns for government is poor debt service to revenue ratio, hence the need for all tiers of government to align for better debt management in the country. Speaking at a virtual workshop, Oniha said the DMO, as one of the implementing agencies in the state's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability SFTA's program, is presenting the guidelines for the legal framework for states' debt management operations to the 36 states of the Federation.
Okay. And what is the limit? So at the center, there's the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Then there are some provisions in the DMO Act as well at the center. So what this is doing is telling them the minimum content. So there should be process, there should be an institution. Where should it start from? How should it go? So that's what this law is doing, as in the content.
The House of Representatives Committee on Works has directed FEMA not to pay some contractors for shoddy work on road rehabilitation in some parts of the southwest. The committee members were on inspection visit to some ongoing rehabilitation projects financed by the COVID-19 Intervention Fund. Shola Wahid has a compilation of reports from that zone.
The oversight visit by House of Representative Committee members is to monitor use of direct labor work by FEMA under the COVID Intervention Fund for the maintenance of road in Southwest. Members of the Works Committee on the House of Representatives inspected Leone Ogbomoso Expressway, Omaran Ekiti, and Leone Shawood Road projects in Kwara State. They were also in Osun and Oyo states to assess the quality of rehabilitation work on federal roads under the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, Southwest Zone 1. While commending some works done on some federal roads, the committee expressed dissatisfaction over poor work by some contractors, threatening to revoke some contracts.
We need to do the correct thing. It's people's money. So the purpose of we coming here is to ensure compliance.
The zonal coordinator Southwest 1 of FEMA assured Nigerians of an effective rehabilitation effort to make the roads better for travelers.
And ensure at all times that they don't go out of their way to do what is not specified, and that whatever they do falls within what are the agreed specifications and conditions of the job.
In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a constitutional amendment bill seeking creation of special seats for women. The bill, sponsored by the House Deputy Chief Whip Nkiruka Onyediocha and 85 others, will enable creation of additional special seats for women in the National Assembly and State Houses of Assembly. The constituencies, when created, will be contested by women only, to serve as a temporary measure to promote women's representation. The provision will, however, be subjected to a review after 4 general election cycles of 16 years for the purpose of either retaining, increasing, or abolishing the temporary measure. The Nigerian Navy will upscale interface with the Defense Space Administration for enhanced cyber solutions that will act as force multiplier to its operations. The Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, announced this at an event organized by the Defense Space Administration to honor some of its past staff. The Naval Chief notes that the center is creating a space competence capable of producing and utilizing space assets to meet the operational requirements of the armed forces and other security agencies.
Our dear nation is currently grappling with complex and multiple security challenges that is threatening our national security. Expectedly, Defense Headquarters and the services in particular look forward to DSA for the provision of requisite space and cyber solutions that would serve as force multipliers to commanders in theater.
This project will greatly enhance our capacity to support the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies with relevant space products and solutions that are necessary for the conduct of operations both in peace and in wartime.
The new Chinese envoy to Nigeria is engaging the Ministry of Police Affairs with a view to strengthening collaboration with China's Public Security Ministry. This is to enhance training, equipment, and intelligence of the force so as to confront the security challenges facing the nation. Francis Form has more.
This is the new Chinese envoy to Nigeria visiting the Minister of Police Affairs to enhance cooperation between the two countries in the area of security to effectively tackle challenges.
I want to let you know the Chinese side of Beijing and also embassy here. We stand with you in solidarity with you and try to work together to change the current situation, to let people not live in fear.
Police Affairs Minister is taking advantage of the visit to tap from China's expertise to address the security situation.
We look forward to partnering with countries like China to ensure that we have better technology, to ensure that we have better equipment, and to also ensure that our training programs are enhanced, modern day training programs that will update our police officers and other security officers who are working day and night to curb these criminalities.
Nigeria and the People's Republic of China established diplomatic relations 50 years ago and have had mutually beneficial bilateral relations. Francis from NTA News.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has imposed curfew on all its land borders between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. with effect from Wednesday, the 28th of April 2021. The action was necessitated by the resurgence of security infractions in some parts of the state. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
Andoni to Omagwa and Isopo, Elele Uweri Road in Ikwere and Abua Odua, residents are sleeping with one eye closed, while some security operatives have fallen to the bullets of some criminals. The situation is worrisome and has necessitated the safe assumption by these traditional rulers to the state's chief security officer, Governor Nyesom Wike.
The efforts put in by the traditional rulers, chiefs, and leaders of Andoni in 2020 on this matter yielded no result. And the court is taking advantage of this to inflict more harm on our people.
The governor, who condemned the attack against security personnel on their legitimate duty of protecting lives and property in the state, sued for cooperation to address the challenge.
In view of what is going on, therefore, and its implications to the security of the state and citizens, and in discharge of our constitutional responsibility in that regard, a night curfew is hereby imposed and no person or vehicle is allowed into and out of River State from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. from 28 April 2021 until further notice. We call all citizens to understand that these are strange times and nothing can be more paramount than our collective safety and security.
In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwere, NTA News.
Still on security, Nigeria Police Trust Fund, NPTF, has been challenged to pay more attention to welfare, compensation and rewards of police personnel in order to achieve effective policing of the country. This is coming from Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency NIMASA, which is in partnership with the fund. NIMASA believed training and retraining of personnel should also be among the top priority of NPTF, emphasizing the need for the proper enlightenment of the citizens on laws of the land so as to reduce crime rate in the country.
Be willing to come to your assistance whenever the need arises. We are ready always to cooperate and participate in whatever you are doing.
Executive Secretary of the Police Trust Fund, who described security as everybody's business, says that informed its initiative in reaching out to agencies soliciting support to have enough strength to cater for the needs and welfare of police so that the country and the citizens can be properly secured.
Collaboration between the two agencies will no doubt help in the successful implementation.
It's time to take our first break. Nationwide will continue thereafter. Don't go away. Welcome back. Chairman, Imo State Community Policing Committee, Eze Emmanuel Okeke, has stressed the need for synergy among stakeholders towards achieving the return of peace and security in the state. He made this known at the meeting of traditional rulers held in Owerri. Bright Ebocho was there.
The convergence of traditional rulers in Imo State is born out of the need to find lasting solutions to the security challenges facing the state. Chairman, Community Policing Committee and traditional ruler of Amifeke in Olu local government area, Eze Emmanuel Okeke, while presenting a communique at the end of the meeting, notes that the recent attacks may not be far from being politically motivated and appeals to all to uphold the interests of the state.
We are calling on our youth not to allow the politicians to use them for such evil action. You should understand that every damage done will be replaced by the government with funds that will be used for other purposes.
While appreciating the efforts of the state government so far towards addressing the security challenges, some of the traditional rulers commiserated with the security agencies, urging them to ensure that perpetrators of the attacks are brought to book.
Traditional rulers from the various local governments should go home and sit and be able to identify the bad eggs.
No matter whoever that is causing this trouble, let them shelve their sword.
Bright Ebochu, NTA News.
You are still watching Nationwide. Adiola is waiting in our Lagos Network Center with more stories from that center of excellence. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lydia.
The temptation to compromise the robust COVID-19 safety measures at the Muritala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos is visibly missing, as protocols put in place are being heightened in response to the current global reality about the coronavirus pandemic. Michael Olaleye reports.
That fateful day, Nigerians indexed COVID-19 patients passed through this terminal. It was an unexpected development which still haunts to days. Although the scar left by the second wave is healing, but happiness around the world is not too cheering to lose guard. The introduction of the drop zones at the Lagos airport is an innovation intended to reduce population of those accessing the main terminal. It is a kilometer distance to the main entry, which compulsorily limits the movement of those not traveling.
Reducing the crowd is important at this time around, because once you have a crowd, you cannot be able to observe the protocols of COVID-19. So as soon as the crowd reduced, then it shows that we are serious about it. So if you don't have any business in airports, you better stay home.
This development has further promoted the stringent measures already laid down. Olariwaju Salami is a Nigerian residing in the United States. His decision to come visiting is based on the country's robust COVID-19 measure, which he believes can stand the test of a possible third wave.
At the baggage hall there, you can see the camera down at the point of the entry, and they observe the distance between the passengers before they come in. Even at the check-in counter, you see, for example, at the ASCAI over there, where I first started, you see that they really observe the distance there.
Outside, I saw you can wash your hands, you can sanitize. It's good. It's good.
If strategies put in place at the Lagos airport is anything to go by, then the possibility of a third wave is slim. But the challenge is on the streets, where people unrepentantly flout the protocol. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, says effective collaboration with state governments will go a long way to curbing human trafficking and related offenses across the country. Director General of the agency, Hajia Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, stated this during a courtesy visit on Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the State House in Lagos. Musa Toliat has details.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said human trafficking and related activities remain crimes against humanity that must be tackled headlong through effective collaboration.
It's indeed for us to be able to work well and help your zonal office. We will look at it. You know, she had asked for additional space, you know, for their office, and I said we'll look at what we have, you know, in some of our skill acquisition centers, you know, for, like you said, we've domesticated, you know, is related to human trafficking is also domestic violence and all of it, you know, because these are all vulnerable people, you know, that needs government support and that needs each and every one of us to continue to lend, you know, our support.
Director General of NAPTIP, Hajia Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, thanked the governor for their assured support. She, however, hinted that the agency, despite the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, rescued 300 people from being trafficked, while about 50 cases are still pending in court.
17 years later, even though we have a response and we're leading on the continent, we haven't grown much. You cannot fight trafficking from skeletal locations, hence the need for us to spread into every state to ensure that we have the right kind of structures and we're able to fight from the root causes, not dealing with consequences.
Nigeria has been grappling with incessant incidences of human trafficking, which has given the country negative reputation as a source, transit and destination for the illicit business. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. Lydia is back to you.
Many thanks, Adiola. The Federal Capital Territory Primary Healthcare Board's target is to achieve the COVID-19 vaccination of more than 200,000 residents. This explains the reason behind the flag-off of the vaccination exercise at the Garki Market, Abuja, targeting 500 traders and residents within the environment. Aisha Oba Ali reports.
Oluchi Amalu, a trader at the Gariki market, is convinced with government's recommendation of taking the COVID-19 jab.
I know if it's something that is not good, I don't think our people, the government, will bring it here in the market.
So is Jude Emeka, a self-employed resident of the FCT.
I said my own, that's me. So if any other person wishes, let them go ahead, because I don't say anything bad in it.
The whole essence of the vaccination is to boost immunity to fight against diseases. This is also what the health authorities are emphasizing at this flag of events. The acting executive secretary, FCT Primary Health Care Board, Dr. Iwot Indayo, says so far 60,000 FCT residents have been vaccinated, and the aim is to get to 70% by 2022.
Because issue, the South Africa strain, the UK strain, I learned that Nigeria also has a strain that is very stubborn. So when you are having this and the vaccines that were produced before that time, a study has to be done to confirm whether what we are taking can protect you against other strains.
He also assured the FCT resident of the second phase, which will commence in June. Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
It's still nationwide. Zinret is in Jos with stories making the rounds from that zone. Zinret, hello.
Hello, Lydia. Thanks for joining us in Jos. Plateau State government says it has so far administered 42,000 doses of vaccine on the people, expressing satisfaction with their turnout at various locations. Sadat Mohammed Kafa has an update on the first phase of the exercise.
Out of the 105 doses of the vaccine delivered to Plateau State, so far, 42,000 jabs have been administered to mostly frontline workers and aged. The Plateau State Immunization Officer says once the first phase of vaccine is concluded, only those who took the first jab will be allowed to take the second dose.
We have retrieved all the remaining balance of the vaccines at the various local government, and as what is obtainable there, if you receive the first dose, you are expected to receive the second dose as from 8 to 12 weeks, which we equally inform those that actually took the first dose, that is the first jab. It is indicated in their cards when they are supposed to come back for the second dose. So if we are done with the first phase,
he appealed to residents to avail themselves at the various designated locations.
An imbalance of 10,000 doses that hopefully by Friday we are expected to close all the vaccination processes in the state.
Stakeholders say the vaccine has no side effects as it is free, safe and effective. In Jos, Saadat Mohammed Kafa, NTA News.
More communities in Plateau State have continued to sign peace agreements with pledges to ensure harmonious living. The latest is Naraguta and Anglo-Jos, courtesy of United States Agency International Development and religious bodies. The report. This gathering by the Federation of Muslim Women's Association is an interface with communities in Naraguta and Anglo-Jos on the need to engage in dialogue and advocacy in resolving issues.
This project is aimed at creating and enhancing interfaith dialogue and consultative forum to achieve trust and confidence building in both communities.
The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding by the representatives of Naraguta and Anglo-Jos is expected to bring to an end crisis in the areas and promote peaceful coexistence. Similarly, Evangelical Church Winning All, ECWA, in partnership with the United States Agency International Development in supporting religious freedom in local communities in Nigeria, has charged Birom and Fulani ethnic groups in Bachi community of Riom to embrace dialogue as a means of settling dispute. Signing the Memorandum of Understanding, the project coordinator, Relief Foundation of ECWA, Mark Sunday, pointed out that no meaningful development can thrive in a conflict atmosphere.
So, but it actually seems to be one of the areas that have suffered some couple of crises, and they are trying within their own local context to see how they can be able to restore back peace.
Gwamre of Bachi Da Gyang Dalyup and the Audu of Fulani promised to take the message to the grassroots by sensitizing their youths. And that's it from Jos. Lydia, it's back to you.
Many thanks, Sinret. Preparations for the resumption of international flights at the Port Harcourt International Airport is about 95% completed. This is just as authorities have set in motion template for the strict enforcement of COVID-19 protocols on the heels of the second and third waves of coronavirus in other parts of the country. We shall bring you details in our subsequent bulletin. A new technology called Campus PAL mobile platform has been designed to prevent sexual harassment in tertiary institutions in order for students to have a sane learning environment. Elizabeth Omori reports that Gender Mobile and Ford Foundation initiated the platform to break the culture of silence amongst the students.
Data by the United Nations Nigeria on gender-based violence show that globally, estimated 1 in 3 women experience either physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. These figures are mirrored in Nigeria, with 30% of girls and women aged between 15 and 49 reported to have experienced sexual abuse. This is linked to lack of coordination amongst critical stakeholders and poor implementation of legal frameworks. These factors necessitated the introduction of the Campus PAL mobile platform to make tertiary institutions safe for Nigerian students.
The leadership of tertiary institutions need to demonstrate that they are serious about this issue and will not condone the culture of abuse, silence, and impunity.
Over 80% of the reports that we recorded emanated from campus communities, which of course shows that there is a high prevalence of sexual harassment in the environment of learning. So that actually informed, our effort to launch into campus communities, essentially to provide support to drive systemic change in addressing the spate of sexual harassment.
As the disturbing trend of gender-based violence increases, critical stakeholders in the education sector believe technological and legal approaches will help reduce the trend and shame perpetrators.
We are ready to support this initiative.
Facts, we collate them, aggregate them, then involve the security agencies.
In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori.
The $750 million World Bank assisted program being implemented under the state's fiscal transparency, accountability, and sustainability is said to be promoting healthy competition and rolling out critical infrastructure at sub-national levels. These experts on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live, attributed to the insistence on fiscal discipline as basic requirement for accessing facility from the grant. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Initiated in 2017, the SFTAS is committed in driving the implementation of critical infrastructure under the World Bank Assisted Fund of $750 million to be expended within the time frame of 4 years. Assessing these grants, however, rely on individual states' level of fiscal discipline, debt management profile, improvement in taxes, and reduction in leakages, with priority to disbursement link indicator.
It's not meant to generate commercial returns. Therefore, the financing itself is concessional, but to make sure that it's used for the right reasons, we need citizens, ordinary people, to pay attention. How are these funds being used? So transparency is a buzzword for us.
Working with us as well at the Nigerian Governors Forum to determine the eligibility criteria, the capacity building processes, and the accountability framework. And I think it's something that states have been particularly grateful to all that have been involved in this for, because right now, 2 years down the line, okay, we've had 2018, we've had 2019, 2020, now almost all states are now involved.
Federal government is also working out modalities to strengthen capacity of states to leverage and improve on chances of utilizing the fund for transformation at subnational levels.
This is a program that has done so well that, again, the World Bank agreed to do another top-up of $750 million US, which is just in December or November, approved by the World Bank Board, and it's been approved also by the Federal Executive Council.
As the World Bank project reaches its peak in Nigeria, the argument of experts here is for stakeholders to sustain conversation and work towards a realizable future, using the fund as a vehicle for accelerated growth and development of the country. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Our next stop on Nationwide is Enugu, and Chinenye is waiting with more reports. Hello, Chinenye.
Hello, Lydia, and welcome to Enugu. The governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, has inaugurated a 5 million naira perimeter fencing of a health center being ravaged by erosion at Obinofianduno in Ezeagu Council area of the state. Susan Eze has the details.
The arrival of the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Cecilia Ezilo, who represented the Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, was a clear indication that the Enugu State government is serious about protecting the community against erosion. Although past administrations have done little to check the erosion ravaging the town, there is now hope that the community will now witness a new lease of life. Inaugurating the perimeter fence of the health center, the Deputy Governor donated a wheelchair, while a philanthropist in the community donated a building for medical doctors and nurses with medical equipment worth millions of naira. A skill acquisition center donated by a non-governmental body, Levinco Youth Empowerment, was also inaugurated. School children and youths were happy that the erosion disaster has attracted other good things to the community. Those who spoke on the development thanked the Enugu State government and stated that there is hope for the future. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
Immunization, which has been acknowledged as one of the world's most successful health interventions, has saved millions of lives yearly. However, the low rate of vaccine coverage is worrisome to relevant authorities who are appealing to Nigerians to have confidence in the efficacy of the vaccine. The report.
The National Immunization Awareness Week, which is being celebrated from the 24th to 30th of April this year, is to draw attention to the importance of not relegating to the background all the other vaccines, especially those administered to children between 0 to 5 years to prevent child killer diseases. This is especially now that global effort seems to be directed to the COVID-19 pandemic and the administration of the COVID-19 vaccine against coronavirus disease.
Immunization has become, obviously, the most cost-effective way of saving life in today's world. It has saved millions and millions of people.
According to the World Health Organization, WHO, about 2.3 million deaths are prevented annually through immunization, and Nigeria is said to account for 20% of global unimmunized children aged 0 to 5 years, despite concerted efforts by stakeholders to revert the trend. With the theme of this year's celebration, Vaccine Brings Us Closer, the task before relevant bodies is to build vaccine trust and raise vaccine acceptance amongst Nigerians. In Enugu State, however, immunization and vaccination coverage is quite impressive.
We've given over 20 persons, over 20,000 citizens of Enugu State, this vaccine. With the way people are able to tolerate it, and many people are receiving it, and more are calling us, where are you doing it? We say that this first tranche, we've started well.
With efforts to increase confidence in vaccine and dissipate vaccine hesitancy, there is hope that the number of unimmunized children and adults who have not been vaccinated will be covered.
And those are the stories from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja after this commercial break. Do stay.
Welcome back. Nationwide continues in Abuja. We now go back to our story on the meeting held by the Federal Executive Council. The details with Adamu Sambo.
The draft policy on sustainable national poverty reduction with growth strategy was submitted to the Council recently by the Presidential Economic Advisory Council at the instance of President Muhammadu Buhari. The Council members deliberated extensively on the two-volume policy document and unanimously gave their approval in response to the poverty situation in the country.
It's not as if government is not aware that there's poverty in the land, but things have been done, and one of it is this national poverty reduction with growth strategy.
By June this year, it will be 2 years since the promise by President Muhammadu Buhari to lift 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years. As the Council noted, it is work in progress. Consequently, a Nigeria Investment and Growth Fund will be set up to support the implementation of the poverty reduction strategy to be domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning with an appropriately established technical working group.
The National Steering Committee, chaired by the Vice President, is to provide overall guidance for the implementation of the strategy. It approved the incorporation of the strategy into the medium-term National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 and Agenda 2050.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has been directed by the Council to prepare and submit a bill to the National Assembly for approval towards ensuring sustainability in the implementation of the poverty reduction strategy. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Maiduguri Network Center has the next set of stories on Nationwide, and Abubakar is our guide. Hello.
Good afternoon, Lydia, and thanks for joining NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center. Baba Buhari for All, a non-governmental organization consisting of serving and former National Assembly members, has donated 30 trucks load of Ramadan assorted food items to internally displaced persons in Borno State. National coordinator of the organization, Jaji Aminu Sani, officials flagged off the donation at Muna IDP's camp in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, supported by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum and the SEMA Director General Yaba Okulu. Mohammed Guni has the rest of the story.
Baba for All is a non-governmental organization founded by former and present members of the National Assembly and other Nigerians to appreciate lovers of President Muhammadu Buhari for their unwavering support and to provide succor to IDPs and other vulnerable Nigerians. Items donated to the IDPs through the Borno State government include 20 truck loads of 50 and 25 kgs rice, as well as 10 truck loads of maize, millet, and guinea corn. Beneficiaries of the food support expressed joy over what they describe as timely intervention in the holy month of Ramadan. Governor Babagana Umara was full of praises to the Baba for All for the single largest donation in recent time and re-echoed call to other Nigerians to support the over 2 million IDPs in Borno, as government cannot do it alone.
We shall do everything possible to provide immediate needs, which is the humanitarian support.
National Coordinator Jaji Aminu Sani said Baba for All initiative will also launch Agriculture for All in Borno in partnership with the Borno State government.
I have never seen IDPs like what I saw today. It's really touching.
Chairman Borno State Chapter Baba for All Usman Zanna noted that Borno's resources have been overstretched by the continued support to IDPs and the communities affected by the activities of terrorism. Director General SEMA Yabawa Kolo appreciated Baba for All's huge donation and pledged to ensure that the commodities reach the targeted beneficiaries. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Away from humanitarian assistance now, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has inaugurated the first governing council of the Borno State University with a commitment to complete the institution's teaching hospital before the end of his tenure. The occasion, which took place at the Government House, Maiduguri, was attended by personalities from the academia, including the Vice Chancellors of Universities of Lagos and that of Maiduguri. Here again is Mohammed Goni with more details of the story.
The journey towards the establishment of the Borno State University was conceived a decade ago, with academic activities and further infrastructural development coming to fruition under the present administration of Governor Babagana Umar Zulum. Businessman of international repute and philanthropist of Borno Extraction, Dr. Mohammed Indimi is the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of First Governing Council of the Borno State University. Professor Zulum, who congratulated the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council, Mohammed Indimi, and other members, charged the council and Senate to work as a team. The institution.
I believe that the chairman and his team, selected from diverse disciplines and interests in the academia, cutting across the geography of Nigeria, had the right crew to pilot the affairs of the university at this critical moment of its development.
Governor Bagana Umara gave justification for a huge investment made in the education sector, which he said is to liberate the society from the dangerous influence of the Boko Haram ideology. Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council of Borno State University, Dr. Mohamed Indimi, commended the structures and facilities already put in place in the institution and further expressed commitment to welfare and security of staff and the students, as well as training of female doctors, among others. Vice-Chancellor of the Borno State University, Professor Umar Kyari Sandabe, who highlighted the progress recorded in the institution, said the university is about to introduce faculties of engineering, medical science, and law, in addition to the existing 5 faculties. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
And that will be it for now from Maiduguri. Lydia in Abuja has more reports for us on Nationwide. So Lydia, it's back to you.
Many thanks. The fight against corruption has taken a new dimension as the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, in collaboration with Independent Corruption Practices and other related offices commission and National Orientation Agency, launched the National Ethics and Integrity Policy aimed at promoting acceptable ethical standards that will help in curbing corruption in the country. The report.
It is a fact that Nigeria is not lacking in laws and policies that will curb corruption. Perhaps what is lacking is the proper implementation and effective enforcement based on well-designed and implementable standards and operational procedures. Following the approval of the policy by the federal government last year, the National Ethics and Integrity Policy contains features such as consequence management, implementation template, monitoring and evaluation mechanism, seeking to inculcate societal core values into citizens, especially youth, so as to shun corrupt practices. The fight against corruption is taken to the grassroots, beginning with a stakeholder sensitization zonal dialogue on the implementation of the policy.
The National Ethics and Integrity Policy, I'll put it as a vaccine which is capable of reducing, if not wiping off, corruption in the country.
We expect that all of us present here today will imbibe the values of this policy, all 7 of them as outlined in this presentation. We expect that you will also teach others around your sphere of influence.
The sensitization dialogue will take place across the country on zonal basis, involving all segments of the society.
Self-censorship, rigidity, and need for more incentives dominate discourse by participants at a hybrid strategy workshop organized for senior staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday has the details.
It is a known fact that the Nigerian Television Authority is one of the first TV stations in the world, and it has been growing in scope and reach since its establishment. In recent time, more television outfits have come up, and as a result of flexibility and modernization, they attract more viewers. In a bid to fit into 21st century broadcasting, the NTA has been empowering its staff across all cadres.
We have so much to learn on a daily basis, especially now that the events that shaped and determine our world evolve at, if you like, the speed of light.
So, participants at this workshop were drawn from all departments to equip them with requisite knowledge that will improve their understanding and ensure good service delivery.
NTA is in a transition stage now.
It was a good opportunity for the participants to ask questions and make contributions on how to better equip them with modern facilities and good welfare packages to serve as incentives.
We need to sustain our viewership by creating or devising a system whereby we remain relevant while being on air and compete effectively.
They all reached a consensus that no one can take the issue of balanced reportage from the NTA.
One of our goals is projecting the true African perspective. While doing that, national interest comes into play. National unity comes into play.
The training was in partnership with TL First Group.
People are recognizing weaknesses. It's not wrong for them to do that. It's just a way to say these are the challenges we have if we want to overcome and become better. That is the standard way capacity is built.
There's the zeal already, so if we continue to train, that will aid professionalism, the style of doing the work, content development, follow-up.
Outcome of the training will be presented in a document form to the management for implementation. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The death has occurred of Mama Ezine Violet Nkechi Enenwaba, mother-in-law to the Assistant Director, Corporate Affairs of the NTA, Enenwaba Stella Maris. Burial arrangements by the family states that a service of songs will be held in her honor at Enenwaba's compound, Umuaba Obinago, on Thursday, 29th April 2021. Friday, 30th April, line in state at Enenwaba family compound, and a commendation service at Holy Trinity Anglican Church, Obinago, by 11 a.m. same day. Interment follows immediately at the family compound. And that concludes Nationwide. We thank you for being a part of it. Don't forget to join NTA in its stand against rape and rapists. I'm Lydia Odije Ochi. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.